So now that we've read this section on producers, one of the things we can do is finish off our definitions note. What is photosynthesis? Yes?
The process that allows plants to make their food.
Okay. What else is a part of photosynthesis? Or what are the things that are part of this process?
The plant leaves take in carbon dioxide from the air and then light energy from the sun and turn it into starches and sugars. And it also creates oxygen.
Okay. And water from the soil. So it produces oxygen and sugar and starches. Okay. So there's our definition. What else is important about this section? A lot of it's talking about photosynthesis, yes, but there's something else that's important. Take a look at the title.
Producers?
Producers. What are producers?
Green plants that make their own food using materials from the environment.
So we want to know that producers are plants. Why are they called producers? So this would be a question that we could ask. Why called producers? So what hypothesis can we say? Yeah.
They produce their own food. They make their own food.
What else do they produce? Yeah.
Produce food for others.
Yeah.
Produce oxygen.
O2. H2O is water. Hydrogen dioxide instead of dioxide. Okay, so they're called producers probably because they produce their own food through, they don't necessarily produce their own food, but they synthesize their own food. Synthesize or make. They produce food for others. They are food for others, and they produce O2. Okay, so we stick our little sticky note there. Why, look, right here it tells us producers, that term. What is a producer?
Person produces plants on land and in water.
And they are called producers because?
But they make their own food from the non-living environment.
So we can flip back to here, and this is the actual answer to our question. That is why they're called producers, because they produce their own food from the non-living environment. So we're interacting with our textbook, not just passively consuming it. So now we read the next section, and again we're going to look at the terms that are on here. We're going to look at questions that we have about this section, and we're going to look at summarizing the section. So when we look at this, we've got 4 different terms. One of those terms is producers. Or not producers, sorry, consumers. We already did producers. Okay, We go back, remember we did producers here. Producers are plants. What are consumers? Yeah.
Things that must get their food from the living environment.
More generally.
They have to eat their own food, they have to consume it.
Producers are
Animals that eat.
producers are plants. Consumers are animals. Now, all animals are not necessarily consumers, but all consumers are some type of animal, living organism. So, consumers are animals. What do? This is now when we're getting into what you were saying. They consume or eat other organisms. They can be divided into 3 different parts. So what I'm going to do on my thing here is I'm going to separate this because all consumers are herbivores or carnivores or omnivores. What are herbivores? Yes. Okay, animals that eat plants. Carnivores? Yes.
Animals that eat meat.
Eat meat or eat other animals. And omnivores?
Omnivores are animals that eat both plants and other animals.
Okay. So omnivores eat both plants and other animals. What is an example of a herbivore? Because remember, the point of this sticky-lighting is to make sense of it. So we're going to add our own information into this. Yeah.
A horse.
Okay. Okay, horses only eat plants. A horse is a herbivore. What's an example of a carnivore?
No.
Yes.
Wolf.
A wolf. A wolf only eats other animals. What is an example of an omnivore that is not a human?
A bear.
Bear.
There's no hippo. Unicorn.
Okay. Now, most humans are omnivores, but there are some humans that are herbivores. Okay? If you are true vegetarian, you will only eat vegetables. You will only eat plants. But that it is a choice, yeah, because we can process physically. We are able to process both meat and plants. So we take our little definition thing, and really that definition pretty much summarizes this whole section, so we don't need to do another summary for it. Okay? So this section is talking about detrivores and decomposers, but this paragraph here is just detrivores. What are detrivores? Yeah.
Things that eat dead things that are rotten.
Organisms that eat dead, or rotting plants and animals. What do you notice about the word detrivore?
Dead.
Yeah.
It has kind of like dead in it.
Okay. Have you heard of the word detritus? Detrius. I think I've spelled that wrong. But that's like leftover stuff, debris. Okay. What else? We have detrivores, herbivores, carnivores, omnivores. What does that tell you about that last bit? What do you think that means? Yeah?
Omnivore means something. What? No.
So ivore probably means what?
Animal.
Yes.
Animal.
Not necessarily.
Like an organism eating.
Think of the word voracious. Someone who is voracious consumes a lot. So ivore is probably something about eating or consuming stuff. Yeah.
I think maybe it's just vor instead of ivor.
It could be. This could be just how it connects, and this could be the meaning consumption. But when we're dealing with words that we don't know, it's good to find connections and try and figure out what parts of them mean, because then when we encounter other words, it can help us remember. So what are some examples of detrivores? Yes?
Worms and crabs.
Crabs, and I didn't hear the first part.
Earthworms and crabs.
Okay. Yeah.
Vultures?
Okay.
Wolverine.
Can you come up with a question about detrivores? Yeah.
Why is the name detrivore?
We just found that out.
Why they eat
Well-
veggies?
Why do we have detrivores?
Oh wait, why do vegetables only?
That's
How a vegetable is useful.
Okay, so this is something, well, these, can you stop talking, please? Now, please? Thanks. So these are questions that we have based on what we're reading. We may find the answers to them. We did with the producers thing. But we may not. So we're going to hypothesize a response. Why do you think detrivores are useful? Why do we have them? What's the point? Yeah?
to clean up like other remains from other things, so that it's not as gross and stuff. Because like some animals, like they don't eat all the parts of another animal, so that we have detrivores to clean up all the rest of it.
Good.